I'm Kim Sharpe, and you are watching Community Checkup. This is a show where we explore a variety of health topics. And today we get to explore the Poudre Valley Hospital Emergency Medical Services, otherwise known as the ambulance service. So Steve, how long has PVH had an ambulance department?
Well, we took over operations in 1972, so this spring it'll be 42 years. For the previous 35 years, the funeral parlors had been providing that service to the community. Of course, as Fort Collins grew, they realized they needed a professional service. We can travel any hospital in the immediate region up to 60 or 70 miles away on a routine basis.
And what's the difference between a paramedic and an EMT?
That confuses people a lot, yeah. EMT is kind of the entry-level position for EMS. It's about a semester of community college work, and it gets you the basics about bandaging, splinting, oxygen administration. And then the paramedic program, they take generally between 6 months and a year. And that's where you get into your advanced life support, medications, and treatment modalities.
Tell me this, why does a fire truck accompany an ambulance on every call?
Well, as fires decreased in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, medicals were increasing, and fire departments had this reserve excess capacity. And so they chose to start going on medicals. We have first responders who arrive with EMTs, oxygen, and an external defibrillator. 5 minutes later, we get a really highly qualified ALS unit following right behind them to take up the ALS procedures.
Really, EMS was started with the idea of fixing people with trauma. In 1966, the Department of Transportation created EMS. EMS doctors did realize that well-trained paramedics could diagnose cardiac problems and could fix them in the field. If you're having a heart attack, anything a doctor can do in the hospital, a paramedic can do for you in your home.
That's good to know and a bit reassuring.
It is, it is. We have a fantastic cardiac arrest save right here in Colorado. And there we go.
All right.
And that is your heart. EKG shows us the electrical activity in your heart. We can look at your heart from 12 different angles to decide whether your electrical rhythm is proper. And with a lot of training, we can also look to see whether your heart is recharging the way it's supposed to. If you're having a heart attack, a blockage to a certain part of your heart, then your heart will not recharge properly because it's going to be leaking potassium.
How are we looking?
You look good. And it takes a lot of training to be able to find those rhythms and to not misdiagnose them as being something that's common. With that training, we're able to diagnose cardiac arrhythmias and myocardial infarctions and get people quickly to a cardiac catheterization lab, either at PVH or MCR, where a patient can have stents or springs put in their heart. We have an innovative program here called an ICE program. I'm going to show you a nice bag of 40-degree saline. Put this very cold water rushing through your veins and put cold packs on you, and we found that we can save your brain much more once we use what's called therapeutic hypothermia. A number of other things we have in the ambulance are a bunch of medications. We carry all the medications that the ER has for saving people from cardiac arrest.
Well, as I look around, I mean, there's so much equipment in this ambulance. I have to imagine that it costs a lot of money.
Yeah, it's an amazing fact. The equipment in the ambulance is actually just about equal to the cost of the ambulance itself. This is one of our new tools. This is called a glide scope. And when we insert a tube into a patient's airway, it can be very difficult to visualize with hard angles. And so this is actually a little television camera we can use to see the patient's airway to see where we're putting the tube.
Does that invoke a gag response?
It does, and I have a really strong gag response, so I'm surprised I was able to do that.
Well, I feel much safer knowing all this is available, but hopefully I'll never need it.
We hope you don't. We like to run into the grocery store.
On the average, we run anywhere between 30 to 40 SWAT calls a year. Mixed in there, probably about 8 to 10 bomb squad calls on suspicious packages. We've hand-selected 20 men and women who are highly dedicated to provide that early access to these people.
So you were also involved in last year's floods, is that right?
We had paramedics on the Black Hawk helicopters. We had paramedics dropping down on hoists, assisting in rescue. We were receiving up to 1,100 folks that were coming off the hill that were being evacuated, and they were bringing us a lot of scared, concerned people, and they really needed to have a fresh face, somebody who was going to be there to welcome them and to make sure that they're okay.
So Sean Jennings is the maintenance fleet coordinator. Sean, what do you do on a daily basis?
Really what we were trying to do is keep the trucks on the street, minimize the downtime, get them back on the road as fast as possible, and make sure that we maintain the level of coverage. We don't have trucks just sitting, waiting for technicians to work on them. The bonus is that we're saving money. We're already down significant numbers in the cost of maintenance. And then I also have good shops that I deal with in town that they kind of stop what they're doing and help us out because they know how important it is to the community. We want to make sure that the community has the best gear that's maintained, so if somebody's sick, we can give them the best care.
I manage about 100 volunteers that work for Poudre Valley Hospital EMS. They cover special events here in Fort Collins. We have a unique program that allows us to bring on volunteers that have little or no experience, and we train them through a tiered program to where they become fully proficient as an EMT and get that experience by riding on our ambulances. Last year, they volunteered about 20,000 hours of ride time.
And how much money does that equate to in volunteer time?
For last year, it worked out to be about $250,000 of community benefit.
So now I'm here with Ted Beckman. He is a paramedic and a division chief at the ambulance service. Ted, what special projects do you work on?
I coordinate the community paramedic program. We started back in 2010. We identified a need for certain individuals in our community that needed flu shots. They couldn't get flu shots at their normal Walgreens or Safeway or their physician's office, so we went to their home and we delivered their flu vaccines. So it started in 2010, and since that time we've coordinated with Meals on Wheels and the Aspen Club, and we visit 30 individuals every month, and they get their blood pressure and they do a medication inventory and they place CO alarms and check their fire alarms for batteries and things like that, and just kind of help them out in their home.
So you really provide house calls for people that might not otherwise be able to get outdoors?
That's right. We are able to go and visit them in their home and make sure that they're okay.
Being a career ambulance service like we are, there's a certain service aspect to our job, and they feel like they're giving back to their communities.
Well, thank you so much again for hosting us today.
Come
it's
back
been
anytime.
Great. All right. Thanks, Steve. And thank you to the University of Colorado Health for sponsoring our show, and thank you for watching.